One of the first assignments I gave to Isaac last year as a 7th grader was a one-pager. In short, this is a small half sheet of paper divided into sections in which students had to share their ideas about the themes and questions of a book they're reading. These are handwritten, and the page is intentionally small. Students are encouraged to use only single words, images, colors, symbols to communicate. This is to force concision, to restrict students from indulging in the impulse to fill a page with words to mask a lack of ideas. Isaac's one-pager came back full of ideas and crammed to overflowing with the tiniest words I have ever seen. And that is when I learned that Isaac cannot be bound. His mind is always moving, working. I would say it is an overdrive, but it never exhausts him, never outpaces what he is capable of. And Isaac's mind does not spin in different directions, hopping from thing to thing. Instead, it burrows and drills down, digging deeper and deeper into topics and questions. And it pushes and pulls, asking new questions, stretching for new ways of thinking. Whether it is in the discussion of a novel, the writing of an analytical essay, the application of complex mathematical concepts, the unpacking of a sugya, or the communication of his ideas in a box on a half sheet of paper, Isaac's mind breaks the boundaries that we set or that we expect. He has a cool exterior and would never show his impatience to a teacher. But that cool exterior cannot fully mask the constant agitation for more that drives Isaac in his learning. Fast forward a year, and Isaac once again has been handed a one-pager. What comes back this time, however, is quite different. There are no microscopic words jammed almost too close to read. Instead, there are carefully penned drawings, single impactful words that grow and shrink and arch around the page. And these words and drawings communicate a deeper and fuller understanding than any of his mini Megillas ever did. Because here's really what makes Isaac Isaac. He is a true learner in the purest sense of the word. When he got feedback on that first one-pager, and second, and third, Isaac read it. He not only read it, he thought about it, internalized it, and pushed himself to do better. He did this again and again, growing with each new attempt, using the tools put before him to dig and to push and to extend. For all that we, his teachers and community, get to see of his brilliance, there is so much of Isaac that remains quietly inside of him. I see this when he pauses in a conversation with me and just holds my gaze. Uh-oh, he's not blinking. Before smiling and breaking away with a quick, okay then. I know there are words and thoughts spinning in that mind that I will never get to know. And then there are the things that I did not know to look for until suddenly they were in front of me. Isaac's academic prowess is widely known, his intensely rational, analytical mind, but is in his creativity and empathy where I have been struck silent, in a short creative vignette that captures the quiet sadness of a man weighed down by life, in a 6-word memoir and visual narrative that suddenly has me on a street in Paris, in the validation of a less confident classmate's ideas with a nod and a word of encouragement. Isaac's deep reverence and care for words, for the beauty in small moments, and for the value of those around him shines through. And then there are the moments of pure silliness and joy. In his younger years at Akiba, these moments came in glimpses, little flashes of playfulness through his seriousness that led us all to see him as wise beyond his years. This year, though, we all, the team of teachers who get to work with Isaac, have delighted together in how much of that part of Isaac we have been allowed to experience. When I picture Isaac in my mind, as much as I picture him focused in careful concentration, I also picture him dancing, learning a complicated routine to stay warm during an exceptionally cold recess, dancing with his arms wrapped around his friends, literally bouncing with happiness on the playground after Mishpahot Maccabia or on the last day of school last year. In these times, it is his joy that is unable to be bound. Isaac, this is a hard goodbye, but you have been ready for these next steps since you stepped into my classroom. You have brought me such joy as a teacher, pushing me to dig deeper, to ask new and harder questions, to stretch for new understandings. As you move to new classrooms and new communities, continue to reject limitations and boundaries. Continue to love learning. And please, keep dancing.
When I first walked into the doors of Akiba, I remember thinking, so this is it. My brothers had gone to Akiba for 4 years and I was expecting a lot. I was really excited and somewhat nervous. When I first saw the building, I was somewhat disappointed by its brown and beige facade. I now realize I discovered one of the best communities I ever could have found. From my first second here at Akiba until now, I have had a wonderful time. I remember our first and second grade teacher, Mr. Salk, would try to get us to journal every day. It was a difficult thing for me to think about then, but for 2 years I ended every single entry with, "I'm happy." I truly was. One thing I really see looking back is how the school has shaped me as a person. Early on in my time at Akiba, I felt like I had to be smarter and better than other kids. My time here has taught me that everyone has something to offer, and that while I may be good at some things, everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Even now, I could not think of a better group of people to graduate with than our current 8th grade. I've been with some of these people for almost 10 years. As I explained to some people, I like to think of my time here at Akiba as a very long bus ride. I've had a marvelous time here, but it's time for me to get off the bus and head in a different direction. In short, Akiba was one of the best decisions my parents have ever made for me. Now it's thank you time. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for always being there to help me and support me when I'm having trouble. Zevin and Aaron, thank you for being the best brothers I ever could have asked for, always being there to chat with me or let me rant at you. I know I show it in my own unique way, but I love you. Shosh, Matea, Lily, Matthew, Ayal, McGill, Kobe, Ari, Sammy, Josh, Venice, Elizabeth, and Natan. Thank you for being the best classmates I ever could have hoped to graduate with. Thank you for your laughs and your smiles, your stupid jokes, and your out-of-this-world insane ideas. Finally, thank you to all the teachers I have been with over my years at Akiba. Specifically, thank you, Mr. Salk, for teaching me to love learning, Ms. Rotfeld for teaching me to question, and Ms. Chipman for teaching me to write. I'll treasure this time for the rest of my life.